Very few people know the Outback of Australia better than my guest now. He loves Australia and we love him. Please welcome Jack Absalom. Samantha's left her microphone. Like to sing a song for us?
Yes. Well, I was going to say, look, you just tell them I'm here, I'll do the talking.
Yes, matter of fact, the man who's looking after you, Kevin Arnett, the producer, was saying to me that don't worry about Jack, just say good day and he'll take it from there.
Right.
A typical Aussie, eh?
Well, I think so. I think I'm very proud to be an Aussie. I think we've got a great country.
Jack, we know you're a painter, we know you certainly as a great bushman, and we know you as a television personality right throughout Australia. But what I don't know is, how did all of this stuff happen for you? Where did you begin?
I don't know. People often say to me, what do you do? And I say, look, I don't know what I do. I seem to have got tangled up in everything. But let us go back, say, before I was a painter. The 15 years before that, I was a professional kangaroo shooter. And I'd done many different things, but then the Whitlam government came into power, banned the export of kangaroo products, so technically I was put out of business overnight. Wondering what to do, when a bank manager said to me, he knew my situation, he said to me, look, any chance of another chap and I hiring you? They used to go painting every Saturday morning or Saturday, Sunday up the Tipperary Road or out to Silverton, and they wanted to go away where the tourists don't go, right out of the way, and they wanted to hire me to do it because they didn't know anything about the bush and they didn't want to break down and get lost, this type of thing. So I used to look after them, do their cooking and that, and then...
And this is where, Jack?
This is out of Broken Hill.
Right.
I took them to the northern end of the Flinders Ranges. And after 3 days I said, look, have you got a spare board? I can't see anything in that. And they gave me a board and both of them nearly dropped dead. And I said, well, hell, I can't see anything wrong with this paint. This will do me. I'll be an artist. As from today, I'll be a professional artist. That'll solve all the problems. And I said, I hurt me back many times lifting kangaroos, but even if I use a big brush, I can't imagine me hurting me back doing this. See? So I turned professional next day after 3 days of painting. And everybody reckoned I was nuts. And within 12 months, I was forced to build a gallery alongside the house to get the people out of the house. And today I get 60,000 visitors a year there. But in this period, I would go away, say, painting, and I always go right out of the way. I keep off the main roads. So if I find somebody, say, broke down in the bush, in the places I go, they could be in a lot of trouble.
Well, have a look at some of your paintings too, by the way, while you talk.
Yeah, in very remote areas. This is a little interesting one I can tell you here, that one time Broken Hill used to be the camel centre of Australia.
That's right.
There was something like 5,000 camels with all the Afghan camel drivers and that, and they would take the supplies into the bush, pick up the wool from the stations, take that to Woolcanya, that was the third busiest port in New South Wales, which is unbelievable, load all the wool onto the boats, unload the boats for the supplies for Broken Hill because there was no roads to Broken Hill, and they would do this big triangle. So that's just an interesting about that painting. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I find people broke down, so I thought to stop this of people perishing and getting into trouble, I will write a book and show you how to do this. Because I had all this vast knowledge from the kangaroo shooting days of chaps in the bush all the time.
But when did the media pick up on you? How were you discovered?
Well, you can go back to the kangaroo days. I was always very vocal on the kangaroo industry. Because I believe if somebody gets up and knocks us or says something about it, and we don't do anything about it, technically we're condoning it. And I never ever let this go. I mean, when, say, America at times sent out the young lady, the last one to come out here to help us with our problems and tell us what we're doing wrong and everything like this, which I thought was very, very good of her. But then a lot of the things she said, or 99.9% of the things she said was hogwash, was wrong. So I go up and I say so.
I think the very fact that you do speak your own mind and the fact that you'll fight these issues must come from your background, because when you were a little Jack Absalom, you didn't have things all that easy, did you?
Not real easy, not really.
I mean, your dad was very sick when you were only a young kid.
Well, we went to live in the bush on the western edge of the Nullarbor Plain when I was 4.5, and I had a brother who's about 4 years younger than me, so he was only 1.5 or something, and then my sister was 3 months old. And
let's have a look at a young Jack Absalom, because I saw this in your book.
And when I was 8 years of age...
There, isn't he gorgeous? Oh. Actually, you're a beautiful-looking baby.
Anyway, when I was 8 years of age, my dad broke his back. And what I mean broke his back, there was a railway line weighing about 600 pounds. There was 3 of them lifting this, and one of them stumbled. And one of the things you don't do is leave go with the railway line because it chops off legs. It's sharp edges. So he hung on, and what it really done was tore all the muscles and sinews out of his back. So left his, say, backbone like this with no support. So he laid for 3 years in Kalgoorlie Hospital. This is how long it took. And when he came out, for the next 3 years, he walked around like this.
Dear me.
This is how he was. So in this period, we were living out in the bush now with nothing, no stores, no anything. And at that time, you never got compensation like you do today. You was on your own. The moment he was out of work, we got nothing. And here we are in the bush with nothing. And so I used to go and trap rabbits and trap dingoes. Which
keep the family together.
I had to.
Jack, you also fought, didn't you? You were a boxer.
Yeah, well, this is... when I was about 13 and a half, I came back to Port Augusta, and the war was on at this time. And there were such things as Food for Britain appeals and all this that were going on. And one of the things in a place like Port Augusta, they'd put on boxing tournaments to try and raise money for the Food for Britain appeal. And
I think I got a shot of you as a boxer.
Yes, well, I was 16 years of age there. I just...
Pardon me 1 second, Jack. Am I doing this okay so far? I'm sorry, Jack.
Well, I was 16 years of age there. I'd just beaten the heavyweight champion of South Australia. I was Northern heavyweight champion at that time.
Were you really? Well, you must have been able to look after yourself.
What
about
reasonable,
today?
Reasonable.
If you come
the
across
opposition mightn't have been too strong.
What about anyone who gives you trouble today?
Oh, well, I talked my way out of it, Bert. I'm a pretty good talker.
I've got to just, before you leave us, I've got to show a few more of your paintings. They really are excellent, and they also show, once again, the true beauty of your part of the country.
This is an interesting one. This is sand country, and I think possibly this is one of the best paintings I've ever painted. It's a good exercise here. If you was to pull a busload to, say, of art students up in front of this sandhill, and I was to say to them, I want you to paint that, 99% of them would turn around to me and say, but what are we painting? And I would just say, you capture the light and shade in that sandhill and you've painted magic.
I think your sky is beautiful too. I think it's just one more to go. One more painting to go? Yeah.
This is in the Everard Ranges, which is the land of the Pitjantjatjara people. This is where the first land rights was taking place. And actually this is quite a famous place. It's called Coolidjara. Just over the other side of that rock, which is called Coolidjara, is Betty's Well, a windmill. And the water there is only about 3 feet under the ground, and this was an Aboriginal soak. And when Giles, one of our early explorers that crossed Australia, the only time in his life he had trouble with Aborigines, he had it there at that particular soak.
What happened?
Well, they would have been there, this is what would have happened. They would have been there and around all the soak, and the Aborigines couldn't get in to have a drink, which is their water hole, and they want to have a drink of water. And, thoughtless. If they had have, say, taken water and camped, say, 500 or 600 yards away or a half a mile away, let the Aboriginal animals come in, but to camp right on the waterhole is very stupid because you don't even let the animals come in, and even today you don't do that.
Well, that of course is your attitude in life, isn't it? I mean, everything is balanced, and I think you're one of those Aussie bushmen who teaches us so well that we can live together, but we have to be careful of what we do, and also we have to think about the other person. Jack, I hope you'll come back and see us again, because I love seeing you on television, and particularly on this particular television show.
But you've got to tell them what I'm here for. I'm down to promote this caravan and camping show. No, Bert, I've got to... Look, I'm down here for this caravan and camping show at the exhibition building.
Right.
Now, you must come and have a look at that. You'll be touring around Australia. Yes. You want a new van or you'll want something.
Lovely.
Come along and let me...
When's it on? It's on now, is it?
Yes, it's on from tomorrow.
I think I've lost the direction of this program.
Till the 10th.
I think he's taken over.
Till the 10th.
Have a good time, Jack. Jack Absalom.